edition of Openminds, a joint offering by 10, the Entrepreneurs Network, and Know Your Town, KYT, Thane's own community magazine. This is the third episode, and we are very proud and privileged to have Dr. Rohit Sani from Madhav Bagh. And the whole idea of Open Minds is to provide a platform for entrepreneurs, professionals, and anybody in general who would like to aspire for greater heights by opening their minds and being open to all the suggestions and opening to all the learnings that others may have to offer. I begin today's session with a small audio visual which will tell the audience about what 10 and KYT is all about. I request Ram to help me with the AV, please. Thane, Maharashtra's major industrial town, fastest growing and slated to be the most happening commercial hub. Over the last decade, Thane has grown from a small suburban town to a large, self-sustaining metropolis. Proximity to the financial capital of the country has extended ample opportunities to Thane for becoming one of the richest districts in Maharashtra. With potent factors like a well-planned infrastructure, low cost of operations, and ample business opportunities, Thane has seen a surge in the number of business ventures in the last few years. Businesses came up in industrial areas like Wagle Estate and Majivada, as well as development in residential and commercial projects on Godbandar Road gave further impetus to the growth of business in Thane. Over a period, Thane has seen opening up of various business avenues like real estate, IT and web-enabled services, engineering, manufacturing, fashion, as well as art and entertainment. With growing opportunities and upcoming business ventures comes the growing need for business networking to learn, explore, connect, and share avenues for mutual growth. Welcome the Entrepreneurs Network. The Entrepreneurs Network, popularly known as 10, was established in the year 2010 with the intent of providing a platform for entrepreneurs to share experiences, learn from and educate fellow entrepreneurs, and generate business opportunities for mutual growth. Our motto, connect, breakthrough, prosper. 10 is a platform for entrepreneurs from different business fields to come together. Members contribute connections, ideas, and time to help 10 grow. Members are rewarded with training workshops, insights, networks, and camaraderie offered by other like-minded entrepreneur members. 10 members meet every Wednesday from 7:15 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. at a pre-decided venue. The meeting is attended by members as well as by visitors invited by members. We learn about each other's business model by having members present themselves before all attendees. In the last 5 years of its existence, 10 has provided a robust platform to its members for learning and sharing through weekly meetings, one-to-one interactions, as well as addresses by internal and guest speakers. 10, in strategic partnership with Nalanda International Management School, has brought in quality content through forums like Samanvay, a research on business of a member, and case study presentation with a mature entrepreneurial audience for objective discussions and learning. In strategic partnership with Know Your Town, the city's own community magazine, 10 launched Open Minds, a platform for entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals with aspirations to express and share ideas for continuous process of learning. As we move ahead on this path of connecting for mutual growth, we look forward to more hands, more heads, and more hearts to come together. So if you are an entrepreneur who understands and wants to deal with the pressures of entrepreneurship in a prepared and confident manner, you should join 10. Be a part of 10. Connect, breakthrough, prosper. Thank you, Ram. So that was 10 for all of us. Thank you. And now an insight into what are the discussions that are going to further ensure. Madhavbagh is a multidisciplinary cardiac care clinic and hospital chain. They have successfully established themselves as a dependable option for treating heart ailments, treatments that don't just heal ailing hearts, but also strengthen them. Their ideology, whatever it takes. It is a promise from the brand of doing everything possible to provide the best cardiac care to patients. A team of dedicated doctors from fields of modern medicine, Ayurveda, diet, and physiotherapy guides the patients on the process of a better heart health. In short, they do whatever it takes to ensure that the patients live a happy, productive life without the worry of a heart disease. They have 120 centers, 2 hospitals, and over 1 lakh successfully treated patients. And these statistics truly establish them in the field of cardiac care. Would you want me to repeat the statistics? I didn't get a response from my left side. So I repeat, it's 120 centers, 2 hospitals, and over 1 lakh successfully treated patients, all using the unique Ayurvedic way of treatment. I would like Ram to play another AV, which is about Madhavbagh.
This century, the entire human community has fallen victim to the hazard of heart disease, especially Indians. WHO has predicted that by 2020, India shall be the capital of heart patients, and India will have to spend crores of rupees on treatment of heart disease. Due to this epidemic, the average age will be reduced along with a negative mindset, which will affect the nation's efficiency and effectiveness, resulting in a huge loss for the nation. Vaidya Madhav Sane forecasted this problem 50 years back. Using his Ayurvedic and modern medical knowledge, he discovered the secret of heart disease. With the help of deep study and research, he treated thousands of heart patients and cured them. He handed over his noble knowledge and legacy to his son, Dr. Rohit Sane, who is also a doctor of modern medicine. While doing this, they both came to know about the huge misunderstanding and lack of knowledge amongst the community and heart patients about heart disease. So, to fight this disease, awareness and right knowledge is the key. With this point in mind, they established Vaidya Sane Trust. By means of this establishment, they took various awareness programs and camps everywhere. A well-equipped hospital was also built for non-invasive treatment of heart diseases, where thousands of patients were treated successfully. With all these experiences, Dr. Rohit Sane realized that there is a need for awareness in the medical professional fraternity and students. So he acquired a special chair of preventive cardiology in Maharashtra University of Health Science, named Madhavbagh Institute of Preventive Cardiology, where well-known world-famous cardiologist Dr. Jagdish Hiremat is appointed as Chief of Chair. Community awareness and health education are the main pillars for eradication of heart diseases. Along with this, a special mission of Arogya Hriday Sampada was announced and started operations on opening ceremony along with Maharashtra State Ayush Director Dr. Kohli, where around 200 doctors took oath for eradication of heart disease. Central Minister of Ayush, Shri Shripad Naik, Health Minister, J.P. Nadda, Maharashtra State Health Minister, Dr. Deepak Sawant, Finance Minister, Shri Mugantiwar, Education Minister, Vinod Tawade, had given best wishes for this esteemed project. This noble project will avail 1 lakh free stress ECG to senior citizens. In the last 6 months, 10,000 free stress ECG were performed. For this, various senior citizens clubs and cooperative banks helped a lot to reach the needy people. Various lectures on health awareness, health checkup camps, print media awareness campaigns, mobile app for healthy heart monitoring, etc. were used, by which health awareness was done from Mofussil area, urban area, village population and the corporate world. This mission shall accomplish the systematic approach and scientific methodology to reduce fear of heart disease from school-going children to senior citizens. To counterfeit the increasing effect of heart disease in the community, these missions should be driven more effectively, with more efficiency and on a bigger scale. For this, everyone should come ahead and cooperate, take participation in helping the mission, so that we could fight this epidemic of heart disease as one. You are required and requested to come ahead and hold hand in hand for this noble cause. Thank you.
That was the canvas of brand Madhav Bagh, and what I'm about to present and share with all of you now is the canvas about the brand Dr. Rohit Sane himself. His education: MBBS Medicine and Surgery in 1990, Fellowship in Cardiac Rehabilitation, Apollo Hospital. Work and contribution: consulting physician for the past 15 years, Secretary of Vaidya Sane Ayurvedic Education and Agricultural Research Trust, examiner in Nasik University for Anatomy, reader in Anatomy at Virar Homeopathic Medical College affiliated to MUHS, member of the board of Chair of Preventive Cardiology Interpathy Department in the Maharashtra University of Health Sciences. His achievements and honors: the procedure Sampurna Hriday Shuddhikaran is highly acclaimed by the patients and cited by a journal in the USA called Light on Ayurveda in 2003-04 and by Ayurved in Italy in 2004. The paper Improving Cardiac Effort Tolerance in Chronic Heart Failure, the role of non-invasive herbal procedure Sampurna Hriday Shuddhikaran was accepted as an oral abstract presentation in the World Congress of Cardiology 2012 by World Health Federation held in Dubai. The same paper has also been accepted by the world's most renowned medical journal, Lancet, JACC, in coordination with Journal of American Association of Cardiology. Dr. Rohit Madhav Sane is the first to conceptualize the idea that ancient Indian medical science, Ayurveda, can play a big role in chronic cardiac diseases. Founder of Madhav Bagh Clinics and Hospitals in India, Dr. Rohit used his education in modern medicine and undertook a meticulous research into Ayurveda. Extensive experimentation and delving deeper into every minute aspect of his study led him to find scientific evidence to substantiate this novel idea. The effort resulted in a combination of modern medical science and the well-established therapies prescribed in Ayurveda, which could prove highly effective alternate way to treat chronic heart failure. Confident about the unique treatment developed by him and having named it Sampurna Hriday Shuddhikaran, literally meaning total purification of heart, Dr. Rohit has presented his findings at various international forums. To name a few: World Cardiology Congress Beijing, China in 2009, Asian Preventive Cardiology Conference Hong Kong 2011, World Cardiology Congress Dubai 2012, Asian Preventive Cardiology Conference Bali, Indonesia in 2013, World Cardiology Congress Sydney, Australia in 2014, and the 5th Clinical and Experimental Cardiology Conference, Philadelphia, USA. I request the founder of 10, Deepak Kapoor, to kindly come forward and welcome Dr. Rohit Sane. I request Nikhil to kindly accompany him to the stage, please. Kindly accept the token of our love and appreciation, Dr. Sani. We are, even before the session starts, we are extremely privileged to be in the same space that you are. Over to Nikhil.
Good evening. Myself, Nikhil Ballard, on behalf of 10th and Know Your Town, I welcome you all to the third edition of Openminds. Well, today we have with us a man who is not just a doctor but also a successful entrepreneur. Doctor, you deal with hearts, and we have read your book, Hriday Sparshi Madhav Bhag. Literally, I can be very honest with you, while reading the book, my heart was in my mouth. The kind of challenges that you have faced and how you have overcome is really stupendous, and I request you to open your heart completely in front of this August gathering, because I'm sure once they hear all your experiences, I'm sure you will win all their hearts. So let's begin. Doctor, to begin with, I would like to know, how did this idea struck you that Ayurveda can replace allopathy treatment? How did you conceptualize the entire concept of Madhav Bhag?
According to me, for me, Ayurveda, allopathy, homeopathy, everything sits on the same stage. Nothing is better than anything or nothing is worse than anything. It's just what is strong in what area and what is to be incorporated with what was the basic idea that was there in my mind. Like for example, I have learnt allopathy, I have preached Ayurveda, I teach homeopathy college. So going through all these things, what have I understood is, if at all we just take the plus and minus points of all these pathies, homeopathy many a times is considered as a branch of allopathy itself. So keeping homeopathy aside, allopathy and Ayurveda, if we compare each other, Ayurveda is basically since last 5,000, 6,000 years ago. But unfortunately, allopathy, though being about 200 years history, allopathy is far more ahead of Ayurveda, if at all the whole period is concerned as such. In that case, if at all we see, why did Ayurveda not pick up to that extent? There were few typical reasons which I have tried to overcome in my model. The first thing was the use of parameters. Like for example, if an Ayurvedic physician is being consulted by a patient, normally what happens is people do get confused with Ayurveda, to be very honest. People say that okay, my Vata has increased, my Pitta has increased, my Kapha has increased. These are common terminologies that has been used, but there are no parameters to each and every point as such, in which people don't believe in Ayurveda to that extent. What did I try to do is, I just tried to fuse these two pathies, taking the pros and cons very clear in front of me. Allopathy has very good parameterization for each and every disorder, while Ayurveda doesn't. On the other side, Ayurveda has a good, rich, traditional knowledge of herbs which are absolutely free of adverse effects. This can be incorporated for the patients for their therapies. So therapies were from the base of Ayurveda, and the investigating model, because what happens is when the patient joins up with any treatment, he should know whether I am improving or whether I am not. To know this, everybody should be clear with the figures, with the numbers. That is what was lacking in Ayurveda, that I tried to fuse in my model. So I haven't tried to overtake allopathy, or I haven't tried to take Ayurveda ahead. I've just tried to treat each and every heart patient, because basically my passion is about treating heart patients. So by hook or by crook, whatever way I see to treat that patient who's basically into that suffering, I will treat him with whichever way I can, whether it's allopathy, whether it's Ayurveda, whether it's homeopathy. So what I've tried to do is I've just tried to fuse these two pathies, because this is a very big war going on in the court of law right now about Ayurveda practicing allopathy, allopathy practicing Ayurveda. Now this is going to be a good threat for the whole thing as we go ahead, but we have already come up with answers to overcome that threat as such. So basically what I was trying to share was, I haven't tried to put allopathy behind, because normally the perception that people take away after coming to Madhavbag is we are trying to put allopathy behind or something like that. In my every session I try to make it very clear, there is no fight in between Ayurveda and allopathy. These pathies are there to treat the mankind for their sufferings. We have to use what is good in each and every pathy and take it ahead and reduce the sufferings of the patients.
So, but like people are ready to experiment with other organs, like it may be any other organ, but when heart is concerned, people are not ready to experiment. So, how did you instill the confidence among the patients? How did you create awareness? Because still, Ayurveda is considered as a proto-science or a trans-science system.
Absolutely, absolutely. As you said, people are not ready to, or else were not ready to experiment for their hearts as such, because it's a question of life and death. Nobody will be able to experiment on it, because once he experiments and it fails, he will no more be there to experiment the next step.
Right.
So obviously nobody would like to experiment. Yes, you are absolutely right. Right now also, this is a very common thing that has been seen. When patients come to us, they are always in a limbo, ki what is to be done exactly, ki whether I should go for this therapy, whether I should not go for this therapy. Many a times people say ki first I'll get my angioplasty done, first I'll get my bypass surgery done, फिर बाद में ये कर लूँगा, फिर मेरे को अगर वक्त मिला तो मैं कर लूँगा, वगैरह वगैरह. These are normal terms that we listen to these things. And we are just, I guess, 10 years old. So 10 years, what I try to do is, how do I try to overcome this thing is, I just follow the footsteps of allopathy. Like for example, why do we believe in angioplasty and bypass today? Is there was nobody else than angioplasty and bypass to compare with. Today you have something to compare with, hence you try to compare these two things. Few years back, when bypass surgery was given to this world in the year 1920s or something like that, and since then till 1980s, 1990s, the first 10-year mortality trial was put in by bypass surgery. That means what happens to the patients after 10 years of bypass surgery. This trial came in the year 1980s or 85. That means after long, say about 60-65 years, bypass surgery came up with a trial, yes, 10 years later the patients do survive. We are also trying to follow the same footsteps. Now, the question is, how did I try to instill the confidence till now? What do I believe is, there are two ways by which you can instill confidence, or you can sell your product. There are two ways. One way, which is very commonly used, which is a conventional method nowadays, is to, if you can't convince, confuse. This is a very normal thing which is being used nowadays. Like for example, if at all I undergo an angiography, I hardly get say about a minute or two to take a decision whether I should undergo angioplasty or whether I should not undergo angioplasty. I hardly get some time as a patient over there. So that is how we try to confuse you before you could take any decision. This is one way, by confusing the person. The second way is by educating the person. Instilling confidence, if at all we know, if at all you must have visited your doctors, you would be knowing that confidence is not on the pathy. Confidence is not on the therapy. The confidence is on the doctor. So, if at all you know, you are believing that person sitting in front of you. you are believing that this person is going to treat me. And why do you believe that person? Because you have perceived that person to be a superhuman. Like for example, a cardiologist sitting in front of you, you haven't asked for his degree, you haven't asked for his knowledge, you hardly speak for about 2 to 5 minutes. That is all that we have to create an impression. What have I tried to do is, I have tried to put in that amount of trainings, training sessions as such, to the whole staff as such, by which they will improvise their presentation towards the patient. The therapy is a mechanical therapy. It is going to show results. So I am absolutely confident about that therapy. Now, instilling confidence, the second thing what I would like to say would be, if at all we are confident on ourselves, if at all we are confident on our own product, instilling confidence in the patient or in the consumer is going to be too easy. Many a times we don't have confidence on our own product, due to which we are not able to instill that confidence in the consumer. Normally what happens is, people try to run away. Entrepreneurs, normally when we come up with some business or something like that, we don't try to cross-check our own businesses the other way. 3 plus 2 is equal to 5, so 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. We have to check it every time as we go ahead. Recently, we completed a randomized control trial. This is just why? Because I want to instill that confidence in myself. We were into a randomized control trial. Randomized control trials are normally conducted by pharma companies, allopathic pharma companies only. Ayurvedic people normally don't get into these randomized control trials because the whole economic game behind it is too different as such, in which Ayurvedic people, they don't afford these kind of randomized control trials. But what was this randomized control trials? What? My friends who have passed MBBS along with me, they are doing anesthesia, they are orthopedicians, वगैरह वगैरह. When I talk to these people continuously ask me कि okay, तू ये सब कुछ कर रहा है ठीक है, लेकिन इसमें से सच्ची ठीक होता है क्या आदमी? These are normal questions that they ask me. Then these research papers that I have presented, many a times I share with them. They say okay ठीक है. Cardiologist बोलता है क्या okay है करके? So I say no, not yet. So they said कि वो बोलेगा ना तो ठीक है. Then I started thinking about it कि okay. So if at all I have to instill confidence in these decision makers, I have to take that risk by performing or conducting a trial along with a cardiologist itself. If the cardiologists say कि yes, this is working, the things are done. So what we did was, crores of rupees were invested in conducting one randomized control trial of 90 patients only. So when we went ahead, what did we observe? The cardiologists performed the trial at their own place, on their own patients, at their own different protocols. So these cardiologists, when they performed the trial on their own patients, what they observed was, this therapy, this Ayurvedic therapy, if at all it is being used along with the conventional medical management of allopathy, the improvement in the patients triple up.
Okay.
This has been certified by the cardiologists themselves. And why did I do this trial? Was to instill confidence in myself. Because as soon as my confidence goes on increasing, I'll be able to instill confidence in my team. It's the entrepreneur who is clearly confident about his own product. If at all we are confident our own product, obviously we should put that product into cross-checks continuously till the world exists. Because as you said, instilling confidence is the most important thing for a product to sell. If at all we don't have that confidence in our own product, we'll not be able to advise it, will not be able to prescribe it, will not be able to put it across the table and to sell it. So the first thing that I try to do is continuously put a check on myself कि whether whatever I am doing, ये बराबर है ना? मतलब सामने वाला आदमी अगर मुझे पूछता है कि ये बराबर है कि नहीं, आई शुड बी एबल टू बी दैट कॉन्फिडेंट व्हाइल आंसरिंग हिम कि यस, चेक करके देख लो. सो दैट इज हाउ आई गो.
Doctor, your core competence is medical skills. But then still, how were you able to create a business module out of it? How did you visualize like such kind of a business module can stand out?
You are right. My core competency is medical science. But God knows, some things have helped me. Basically, to be very honest, how did I develop these business models? It has evolved. It has evolved. Initially, I began with a hospital. I was a person with a very limited vision when I began. Abhi, when I am sitting in front of you, think that I must have visualized this thing, something great or something like that. Nothing. When I began with it, it was a very small thing. It was just a small hospital in Khopoli with 9 cottages only. My vision was that narrow that I started only with 9 cottages. कि चालू करेंगे तो पहला देखते हैं टूटे फूटे हड्डी, तो आई शुड नॉट सफर टू दैट एक्सटेंट. सो I started with a very small project that was at Khopoli. The location itself, Khopoli, was people said that this is a stupid location that you have chosen. 60 kilometers away from Mumbai, who is going to come over there, वगैरह वगैरह. And that is a cardiac rehabilitation center. फिर तो कोई भी नहीं आएगा. So they had एकदम they were convinced about it कि I am going to fail. So I began with it. It was my passion because I was very clear about it that this is the need of the society. Because a product is going to work if at all there is need. If at all we are in a process of creating need, obviously that amount of waiting time is required in any of the business. But what happened was when this Khopoli hospital began in the year 2006, patients slowly and gradually got discharged from the hospital. My co-director, Mr. Kiran Bide, he was a good visionary, I would rather say. He saw that the patients who get discharged from there, they need to be followed up all over the state, where people used to come over there from everywhere from Maharashtra. So what he thought was people coming over there getting discharged, these people need to be followed up in all over the states, and we need some type of satellite clinics or satellite channels or something like that. Hence we began with the clinic model with the intention of serving these follow-up patients, not with the intention of starting a standalone whole heart working clinic as such. So it began as a follow-up center as such. Slowly and gradually, as what we went through all these things, we understood that the standalone centers, to be financially feasible, they need to have new patients over there and treat the patients over there itself, and that was the demand from the patients also. So slowly and gradually, first the hospital, then the clinics. We started the first clinic at Dombivli. If you will not believe, the first clinic started as a piles clinic. It was not a cardiac clinic. So it was a piles clinic. From piles clinic, we upgraded ourselves to joint pain clinics. Initially, the name for these clinics was Nivaran. It was not Madhavbag for clinics. The hospital was called as Madhavbag, the clinics were called as Nivaran. Then we understood that we have upgraded from piles to joints. Now I was very confident from the treatments that were going on in the hospital कि yes, the same treatment can be conducted in the clinic also. थोड़ा सा रिस्क था, लेकिन I was always a risk taker, so I went ahead and we planned to have all these treatments in the clinics also. So as soon as we started with the clinics, there was a small amount of confusion in the patients कि वहाँ पे जा रहे हैं हम लोग माधोबाग clinic में, यहाँ पे आ रहे हैं निवारण clinic, मतलब माधोबाग hospital निवारण clinic. There was a good confusion in these patients. So then slowly and gradually we took a decision that the clinics also should be called as Madhavbag clinics. So then the name changed to Madhavbag. And as we went ahead, initially there were only 3 clinics all over the whole state as such. Kiran Bide, who was the co-director, he had a good idea of franchising. Like for example, it used to take about 10 lakh rupees to put up a single clinic. we started our company with a share capital of 4.5 lakh rupees. So now it has grown to that extent that obviously this seems very less. But at that moment of time when we were supposed to put 4.5 lakh rupees over in that company, it was difficult. But okay, as we went ahead, getting those 10 lakh rupees to put a single clinic and setting up a whole chain of clinics was impossible. At that time, a small concept of franchising was budding up. When we just went through the whole concept as such, we understood that this can be a good concept. Kiran and I had good amount of discussions that a franchisor, whether he has to be a franchisee, whether he has to be a medico person, whether a non-medico person, if at all we are going to choose only medico person, the speed is going to be lesser. Because I knew that if at all we have to sustain in the market, growth is the only answer. If we don't grow, we were supposed to get crushed down by somebody. So jitna fast grow ho sakte the, we were planning for that. So we started franchising the concept. Slowly and gradually from 3 clinics we grew up to 165 clinics. So 165 clinics in a span of about 3 to 4 years. So 3 to 4 years, 165 clinics, it was a great achievement as such. But along with that, there were some problems that we were facing also. But the problems were quite lesser as compared to the whole glamour that was getting created. So the business model that I was talking about, what have I understood is for a business model to evolve, I have very less amount of financial or accounting knowledge. Now also if at all you ask me to read a balance sheet, I will not be able to. So that's the most difficult thing that I foresee tomorrow also. But understanding the part, for a business model to work, what I see is there should be a good relation between input and output. The input always has to be more than the output. If the input is lesser than output, this was what was clear in my mind. इससे आगे मैं कुछ नहीं सोचता था. So then the question was, is the input in my hands? I was clear, नहीं. Input is not in my hand, because कितने patient आएंगे, कितने treat होंगे, कितना collection होगा, nothing was in my hands. What was there in my hand was the output. So I could control the output itself. मैं output बढ़ने की कोशिश, मतलब output ना बढ़ने की कोशिश किया करता था. Like in the hospital as well as in the clinics. If at all you might not be believing, in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, the expense of a running clinic is still below 1 lakh rupees per month. मतलब I have tried to keep that expense as least as possible so that the whole feasibility of the business increases. Why people opted for this franchise option was least of investment, maximum of returns. So this was the basic thing that we tried to portray to the new franchise owners that came into it. So the business model gradually evolved from this, because it was very clear that whatever happens, kharcha badne nahi dena hai. Obviously, keeping the quality in control, the quality should not be compromised. This was the basic task that was in the whole business model as such. But it was very clear about it that this business model, if at all it has to be feasible, the expense should not go beyond limits, because if at all expense, many of the businesses fail because the expenses go over the head. So that is what I have tried to evolve. As you said, how did this business model evolve? This was a gradual thing as such. Many a times people, when they look at us at this stage, they say ki, okay, something must have been planned in the beginning and something must have happened, but nothing like that. Slowly and gradually it has evolved, and in the coming days it is going to again evolve. As soon as the threats and the opportunities come in, we will try to cling on to whatever opportunities we can, and we'll be going ahead. The intention is very clear: treating the heart patients, improving their quality and quantity of life is going to the basic target as such.
So but providing medical services has more like human value to it. Like any other entrepreneur can think of a particular target or profits, and he can communicate that vision to his employees. But then you can't communicate that vision to your employees, or probably we need so and so many patients for this year, or we need to have so and so number of business from these number of patients. So how did you communicate that vision to your employees?
As you said, ki, yes, this is a business of human values, and that is what I try to communicate.
Okay.
Like for example, when we have training sessions as such, these training sessions are very clearly put across to our doctors. Ki, your target is not about treating so many number of patients, but your target is improving each and every patient to a such an extent. We have a team of operation heads, we have a team of monitors who continuously are in touch with the patient directly. All 120 centers, they have been enrolling patients continuously, and each and every patient is in touch with the operation heads, which continuously monitor each and every patient. Like for example, if at all you ask about this question, ki how do we communicate it to the patient, to the doctors? It's very simple as such. What do I see is I don't have to communicate the business targets as such. Obviously, business targets are there. No doubt about it. Business targets are there. But to achieve these business targets, what is important is treating the earlier patient to a very high level of satisfaction. If that happens, the new patient comes in. If at all we normally we analyze it every month, that 70% of our new patients come through word of mouth. The earlier patients who have been treated, they get in a new patient, and gradually the cycle begins. So communicating business targets, yes, we do, because that is the basic essence of business. We try to pull a very clear line of demarcation between a doctor and a businessman. If you see, in the morning I practice in my own clinic 7:30 to 9:30, 10 o'clock, 2.5 hours. Till then I am a clinician.
Okay.
After that I become a businessman. So whenever I go for my trainings, I am very clear about it. Ki a doctor is talking to a doctor.
Okay.
It's not a businessman talking to a doctor. So the line of demarcation is very clear, because medical business, these two words itself go against each other. There is nothing called as medical business as such. We have to serve the patients. But obviously, if at all you have to run an organization, you need that amount of finance flowing in. So there should be a very clear line of demarcation. I have learned the history of the whole medical science of cardiology, in which angioplasty, bypass surgeries, why do few of these people, the patients, why do they curse angioplasty or bypass? Many a times angioplasty and bypasses are being done in patients who don't even need them. Many a times that has been seen, and that is what has been heard by us. How much is true, how much is false, we'll keep it apart. But that is what I have tried to teach my doctors, is none of the patients who don't need our treatment are to be advised for our treatment. That is a very clear thing that we try to put it across. Because, for example, if a patient comes in and we assess him for his exercise tolerance capacity, we assess him for his stress test. Once we see that the exercise tolerance capacity is good, or else the whole team of Madhav Bagh, we train the doctors to tell the patient that you are absolutely fine, go and enjoy your life. A patient goes to the doctor to just hear these two lines. Unfortunately, many a times, he comes to know the reverse. So what happens is, if at all I win the confidence of the patient by telling the truth, to the patient, this is the report, this is the way that you'll have to walk for 15 minutes. If at all you have walked for 15 minutes, you are absolutely normal. Ghar pe jao. If at all the patient comes to know that yes, I am absolutely fine, I am not into a problem, he has a huge faith in that doctor.
Right.
And tomorrow, even if he comes across any friends, any relatives, any family members, anybody, he is going to drag those people in the clinic. बोलेगा कि ये सच वाला डॉक्टर है, इससे मिलो. He'll advise you the best. That is how we try to keep each and every quality parameter in check.
But doctor, 2 hospitals and more than about 165 centers now, and you have treated more than 1 lakh patients till now. I'm sure that may not be that smooth like how you are telling us right now. So what were the teething problems at the initial stages that you faced, and how did you overcome them?
Right. The first teething problem was this कि 165 को उतार के 120 पे ला दिया. What happens now? As an entrepreneur, we are always hungry for growth. Many a times we can say immaturity. Many a times it could be said that not correct decisions. I would not say wrong decisions. Incorrect decisions many a times have been taken. Like for example, when this franchising concept came inside, many of the franchise owners did not deserve having that franchise clinics with them. But by some or the other way, the franchise clinics were, because we did not have any typical criteria as such. We were in a budding phase. We did not have any typical criteria as such कि इसी को franchise देंगे, इसको नहीं देंगे, वगैरह वगैरह. Nothing was planned as such. Now when we have evolved, we have typical criteria, typical baselines कि नहीं, these people will not be given franchise, हाँ इसको देंगे वगैरह वगैरह. Now we have learnt a lot. But this was the most important teething problem of getting 165 to 120. Basic first thing was realizing this, that these people don't deserve it. This was the first pain. Second, reducing from 165 to 120 was the most dreadful, most biggest nightmare that I could have ever seen, because getting down that number and breaking the relationships was more painful. That was one. The second teething problem that I could see, and we have tried to overcome to a certain extent, was retention of the staff. Normally, doctors are professionals. They normally go to any of the organization, go to any of these clinics to work for a certain period of time, and then they are clear that I have to set up my own practice somewhere, and then they disappear from the organization. This was a very big problem as we grew up. Ayurvedic colleges, the quality of education in these Ayurvedic colleges is not at par. Still, it is not at par. We have to do a lot of mehnat on these people now also. So if at all we see, the most important teething problem was retention of staff. When we analyzed the whole story, what did we understand was the doctors are joining Madhav Bagh to learn. After learning, they plan to start their own practice. This was the most important problem, the most important issue that we were trying to address to in those 2-3 years back. When we went into the problem analysis part of it, what we understood was, we had a small survey in which we asked few of the doctors, why have you joined Madhav Bagh? They were very clear about it, we have joined to understand what is this science, and then we'll be very clear about starting with our own practice. Then I obviously, as was normal entrepreneurs do, they have many consultants with them. I had a few of the HR consultants with us, and I met with them. I discussed this problem. Normal solutions come in. You should come up with a bond with the employees. फिर उन लोग छोड़ के जाएंगे तो 1 लाख रुपया तुम उनसे वापस ले लेना वगैरह वगैरह. There were normal solutions that were given. Many a times people said कि you should before they come in you should put them very clear stringent rules कि छोड़ के नहीं जा सकते वगैरह वगैरह, all these things. Somehow that did not click to me. I said, "Ki, nahi, this is not the solution. I have to find out some more solutions into it, because pressurizing anybody to stay inside the organization is going to affect the productivity of that person as well as the organization. So that was not the answer. So I was trying to search for the solution. Ki, what should it be? When I was going through the problem, because I have learned few things from my father, is if at all you don't get a solution, go through the problem again and again.
Exactly.
The solution lies inside the problem itself. So when I was going through the problem again and again, what I understood was, why are the doctors joining me is to learn.
Okay.
That's the solution. Teach them. So we came up with a hardcore typical training module for these doctors. So what have we done is, we have invested a lot in training last 2-3 years, and since then the retention has increased quite a lot, many folds. Like for example, now in trainings we have an online type of training, we have a decentralized type of training every month that happens. Online training, they have typical clear educational videos every day that they have to go through. We try to increase their knowledge, because their demand from Madhavbag, because what do I see is, my customer is my doctor and the doctor's customer is the patient. If my patients are to be happy, my doctors have to be happy. So if at all my doctors have to be happy, they have to get whatever they are expecting out from me. So my job in my company is to keep my staff happy. My staff's job profile is to keep my patients happy. So this clear idea made me take that decision about investing more and more amount of funds in training itself. So now we have a huge training plan as such, and in the coming future I am going to invest a lot amount of training itself, because what I have realized is, if at all we train our staff, they are going to train, they are going to get convinced, they are going to get confident about the whole product, and spreading the whole process, spreading the whole concept of Madhavbag is going to be too easy as such. So these were few of the teething problems. If at all we see, from 2006 to 2016, there had been n number of teething problems. If at all I put light on each and every teething problems, you would say कि ये company चलती भी है कि नहीं. So I would not get into the details of that. But teething problems are going to be there. I consider these teething problems as opportunities to improve. If at all we don't accept these teething problems as opportunities, there are chances of failure ahead in the life.
Sir, you have given Ayurveda a very corporate look. Like the science has really improved a lot when we go to the clinic and we see it, actually we witness. So how have you embedded the technology to grow business? You also created an app recently in Thane, which was inaugurated by the mayor itself. So can you throw some light on the technology part?
As what I said in my first question, why Ayurveda did not pick up was due to lack of technology. If at all I want Ayurveda to be picked up to that level, because if at all Ayurveda space grows, then preventive cardiology space grows, and then Madhavbag space grows. So if at all I have to grow the space for Madhavbag, I have to grow the space for Ayurveda. Ayurveda did not pick up to that level because of lack of technology. I was very clear about it. Hence, Madhavbag organization is full of technology. Each and every, normally what happens is, Ayurvedic physicians normally run away from electronic records. Case records, normally if at all you ask any of the Ayurvedic physician outside, very less number of Ayurvedic physicians keep their patient records. In Madhavbag, if at all you go back into our clinic management system, there are profiles, there are clear-cut details of each and every patient, each and every vital of that patient has been recorded in the CMS. So we have a huge base of information technology having inside the whole organization. And now gradually, because I was a person, though being from modern medicine, I did not believe in information technology to that extent कि इससे क्या होने वाला है. Last 2-3 years back, I have realized the strength. I have seen the importance of this technology-based thing as such. The things can go so simple with the use of technology. The only challenge is the architecturing of the whole technology. It keeps on evolving continuously, or continuously whatever we have done in last 2 years, we have to scrap it out and come up with a new thing. So a huge amount of investment goes into it. That is what pains. That is the only thing that pains. But rest of it, the technology is nothing bad as such. That is what I have realized. And now maybe we'll be the only organization in Ayurveda who will be using technology to that level. As what you said, we had launched a health heart meter recently, which gives you an assessment of your own heart. That is an app. You can just download it on your phone. You can just have a survey that gives you a report immediately as soon as you finish your survey, that this is the risk chances of developing heart disease in you in the future years. So this was a very small thing that we have done. In the future, we are coming with learning app. We are coming with apps which are going to unite all the Ayurvedic doctors on the same platform. Like for example, there are n number of apps for medical doctors of allopathy, but there are very few apps for Ayurveda people who can come together. We are trying to come up with an app which is going to fuse in LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as the authentic medical diagnostic procedures, and everything is going to come together, and that is going to be a game changer as we go ahead. As well as we are again trying to come up with a whole hierarchy of preventive cardiology. Like for example, there are few courses, like for example, you must have seen the video in which preventive cardiology chair has been established in the Maharashtra University of Health Sciences. That is a very big step that we have taken, because if at all we have to create a big space of any of a pathy as such, we have to approach the university, we have to get in new courses through it, and those courses, if more number of people just enroll in those courses, more number of graduates will be coming ahead. So we have a learning app for these graduates who will be having online learning of Ayurveda. For these graduates who will be learning along with their practicing tenure. So technology is going to be the tomorrow for Madhava, because if at all you see investigating models, if at all stress test hai, 2D echo hai, angio defender hai, there are n number of technologies that are coming in to diagnose the patient and to treat. We are coming up with technologies in Ayurveda in which normal there is a therapy station that we have in our clinics on which the procedure has been performed. That itself is going under revamp as we are going ahead with technology. So tomorrow for Madhavbag is going to be full of technology. People should now approach Madhavbag because of its technological advancement.
Doctor, you are presently playing two roles. Like you are playing a role of an entrepreneur as well as of a doctor. So which one you enjoy more?
To be very honest, entrepreneur. Medical science is in there. Now nobody can pull it out.
Okay.
That is gone inside. And I am a person who believes in logic. If at all you understand the logic behind anything, the things go inside like a charcoal. They cannot be extracted out. It is not like a sponge. A sponge can be just squeezed and everything will come out. A charcoal, if you squeeze, nothing is going to come out. So if at all you understand the logic behind anything, it goes inside like anything, it cannot be pulled out. So medical science under ghus chuka. Now what I am learning is how to be an entrepreneur. Because what I have understood is being an entrepreneur is more challenging. I would rather say every cardiologist should be an entrepreneur as such, because treating each and every patient with a new hope. Because we fight a war which we are going to lose some or the other day. We will never win that war for a whole life.
Yeah.
Someday we'll have to accept I've lost. So, treating each and every patient with a new hope every morning. yesterday we must have gone through a very bad patch. That we must have seen something which normally nobody has a look every day. But we must have heard something, we must have gone through something with a different patient, and tomorrow a new patient comes in, we have to give him the same hope, this new thing that comes in. So I think every preventive cardiologist has to be an entrepreneur, and that is what we try to train them, we try to empower them. Yes, you should be an entrepreneur, and obviously I am more interested. Every morning I ask this question, whether if at all tomorrow I put this out to somebody else, will I practice instead of 2.5 hours to 10 hours? The answer comes no. I enjoy more empowering people than treating, because one Rohit Sane is not going to be enough. There should be about 1,000 Rohit Sanes who will be treating heart patients with the same efficacy. If at all that happens, Madhobag will play a good role in the coming future.
Doctor, we get a lot of positive vibes from you, and I'm sure you must be throwing those positive vibes on your people as well. So is there a spiritual base to it? Something like that?
I'm against spirituality. Just joking. But to be very, very honest, there is no spiritual touch as such. Normally, people normally keep me advising कि अरे देवळात कधीतरी जात जा वगैरे वगैरे. But I am a person who normally doesn't visit into any of the temple or anything like that. What do I believe is, for me, the God is my patient. Treat him. If he is happy, the God is happy with me. That is the truth. Because many a times people try to believe on God more than himself.
It's more out of fear.
Absolutely. And everything is done by us, not by the God. Yet we give the whole of this credit to the God instead of us. If at all we give that credit to ourselves, whether I have failed, whether I have passed, the credit goes to us. Accept the credit, learn from it, so that आगे जाना आसान हो जाएगा. Keeping the God unnecessarily in the whole ecosystem is not going to help. So according to me, spirituality is nothing else but believing in your own methodology. Is spirituality.
He's like he forgot his question.
So talking about the branding part, like Madhobag has become a big brand now. So what techniques have you used to brand Madhobag? Can you elaborate on that?
To be very honest, this brand has been built up in last 4-5 years. We have started in 2006. Slowly and gradually the brand has built up. What have we used to grow this brand? If at all I would have analyzed, I would have strengthened that only thing. But we haven't analyzed that yet. What has built up this brand? Maybe the faith that you people have shown in the brand has maybe strengthened the brand. Because what I've understood is, brand is nothing else but a promise. A promise that we have given to the patients, and we have tried to fulfill it to a very good level. Because every patient cannot improve to that level. But what does a patient expect from a brand is that the brand or the doctor is doing at least something for the patient. Everybody knows that we have to go away from this world someday or other. But before that, if at all we can put some faith on somebody and the faith doesn't get disheartened, that's a brand. We have tried to serve our patients to that level. The clear communication from me to the whole staff goes in this way: ki do anything for the patient. Don't ever say no to the patient. Whatever he asks for, he is our God, we have to deliver the services. So that is how we try to communicate to the lower level of our Panchakarma therapy staff also. that it is very clear if at all you are helping that patient to improvise his quality of life, obviously that is going to give you good amount of benefits psychologically, financially, every way. So maybe what has been the reason behind behind this growing brand name as such, maybe we have tried to keep up the promise till now at least. आता पुढे माहिती नाही, but till now we have tried to keep the promise. Whatever we had promised the patients, we are trying to keep the promises as much as we can, because many a times what happens is brands promise, but they are not able to deliver to a certain extent. So this is one, and the second thing is communication. Many a times people, when they come to our clinics or hospitals, what do they think is Madhavbag is a clinic or Madhavbag is a hospital where blockages will disappear. This is what normally people come with an expectation कि वहाँ पे जाएंगे मेरे blockages निकाल देंगे. This is what they come with an expectation. We spend a lot amount of time in training them, in educating them, in communicating things that blockages जाएंगे तो आपके वजह से, हमारी वजह से नहीं. Give the credit to yourself instead of us. So the patient is very well educated about his whole disorder as such, due to which he understands that I am going to treat myself and not anybody else. So Madhavbag is a concept. Delivery of the concept has been done through the clinics and hospital. But what the patient carries with him at his house is the concept. Concept of treating himself through himself. So that is how maybe the brand must have grown. If at all you identify any more reasons why the brand must have grown, let us know. We will try to strengthen those things.
People love this topic of health, and they are very cautious about it. They are very inquisitive. They keep on asking a number of questions. They harass at times. So, which has been the toughest and the weirdest encounter
With a patient?
with any patient?
N number. Because what happens now, many a times, you think that the patient is listening to you. You speak a lot about the disorder, you speak a lot about the diet and exercise and everything, that the blockages will not disappear and you are going to treat yourself, everything. And later on the patient asks, मेरे blockages जाएंगे क्या? मतलब रामाची सीता कोण? अख्खं रामायण ऐकल्यानंतर हा प्रश्न असतो. So what weirdest encounters were n number of encounters. Normally when I am in my practice in the morning times, n number of things happen, but we will not be in a position to call it as a weird encounter, because many a times that becomes a medico-legally wrong thing as such, because a patient has come to us with some suffering. Maybe he is not able to put those things in the right words, hence it sounds weird to us. But people are very much concerned. Like for example, even though people do come to the clinic कि अरे डॉक्टर साहब इधर दर्द हो रहा है मुझे. अभी इधर दर्द हो रहा है तो सहन करो ना. अभी इधर दर्द हो रहा है तो क्या करें? These are very small things, but medico-legally this becomes wrong to unnecessarily tell this in a crowd as such. But these are small things that we speak to ourselves inside. हम लोग patient के मुंह पे नहीं बोल सकते कि सहन करो करके. लेकिन but these are things. But people now slowly and gradually they are getting more and more aware. Few patients are so religiously they follow your guidelines so religiously कि अगर उनको आप बोलते हो कि तेल वाली चीजें बंद करो, वो घर पे जाकर के सारे तेल के डिब्बे विब्बे फेंक देते हैं, आज से तेल नहीं. 3 months later he comes to meet us, he has lost his 10-15 kgs. Then he comes to us, sir अभी मैं आ गया 10. Then he is up with a new disease for losing that amount of weight. So there are instances where such people do come in. We are always into a question कि इससे बात कैसे करें, because many a times I deliver lectures 1 to 100, 1 to 500. In that case some person gets up and asks कि मैं पानी कितना पीऊँ. So normally we consider that the people sitting in front of us are heart patients. So we normally try to advise them, you should drink water from 1.5 to 2 liters वगैरह वगैरह. तो तीसरा ही कोई तो आदमी उठ करके पूछेगा कि I drink 6 liters in the morning. What should I do? What should I do? क्या बोलूं? So if at all I tell कि no, you should not drink 6 liters. तो दूसरा ही कोई तो आदमी उठ के पूछता है कि I drink only half a liter in a day. What should I do? So it becomes very difficult in such a big crowd to address them. These are things which we encounter, but we don't show it in the crowd as such कि अरे हम लोग क्या अभी आंसर क्या दे. One is asking this, one is asking that. There are two extreme questions that come in. We have to be very witty while we answer these questions, because one wrong word from our mouth is going to create huge blunders. Because maybe many a times we advise exercise karo. Many a times people with low ejection fraction, low cardiac pumping power, these patients get motivated, exercise karenge, and from tomorrow onwards they start running here and there and they land up into a problem. So it's very difficult for us to communicate it to the patients ki right now the crowd sitting in front of us, who are they?
We are entrepreneurs.
Easily I am so open about it right now.
You are safe in this club.
And entrepreneurs I know will not follow anybody. They will create their own path. वो सही है या गलत वो वक्त बताएगा.
People usually prefer to go to senior doctors instead of young doctors. So was age any time a problem to you? Because you are very young.
Absolutely. It was.
You are refusing to age.
No, it was, it is. Will it be there ahead or not, I don't know. But I'll tell you a small instance. My father expired in 2004. 2004, I had only one practice, one clinic in Ghatkopar itself, father's clinic. So when my father expired, it was a huge challenge in front of me to fit in his shoes. Because people coming over there clearly used to tell on the face कि अच्छा बाबा नहीं है क्या? अच्छा ठीक है, मैं जाता हूँ. हाँ मतलब अंदर आके कंसल्टिंग केबिन के कुर्सी पे बैठ करके they used to ask अच्छा पिताजी नहीं है? ओके. अंदर आते वक्त दिखा नहीं क्या? लेकिन ठीक है. But what used to happen is these patients who normally come down, they expect the same aura which my father had to be along with me. To build in that aura was a huge challenge. Age has always been a factor. Now whether I should take it as a plus point or whether I should take it as a minus point is a question in front of me. What happens is many a times people judge you from your hair. If they are growing grey, great, people believe in you. If they are black, people don't take you that serious.
If you lose your hair,
Problem solved. So this was a very big problem because the doctors that we used to hire were all freshers. They being freshers, people, how much they used to believe on them was always a question mark for us. We always used to assess this every now and then, ki is faith the factor for the business not going to grow in the earlier years? We used to assess, we used to analyze it every now and then. We used to have surveys with the patients. Ki how did you find the doctor? Was he intelligent? Did he serve you well? Vagera, vagera. Initial years, the patient used to say that, "Ye doctor experience nahi dikh raha hai kya?" vagera, vagera. But as the days progressed, the brand image increased. Now, I don't think so that any patient looks at the age of Madhavbag doctors. Because what do people believe now in Madhavbag is a concept. It has been monitored centrally, and every patient is going to be in the same type of follow-up, same type of bonding with the superiors. Hence, maybe age is not a problem for those doctors, but for me, yes, that is a problem, because till now also, 2004 dad expired, 2016, 12 years have passed now, still people come in with the same thing, Baba nahi hai ka? So he had that amount of aura around him that people now also they ask for his name, and coming in many a times, अच्छा तुम्ही लहानच दिसताय अजून, तुम्हाला थोडासा एक्सपिरियन्स आल्यावर भेटतो. So 14-15 years of experience is not enough for them. So age has been a problem. That is no issue.
But you enjoy it till you can.
Absolutely.
In today's fast pace of life, usually in Mumbai, Thane, or in cities basically, people expect quick results, and Ayurveda people feel is not that kicking or alive, or it takes a lot of patience. So is it a problem for you, and how do you overcome that?
It was a problem. As what you asked, it is very true that people expect quick results. Why would we call people? I also expect quick results, and this was a challenge that if at all you don't deliver quick results, you are out of the race. So this was a huge challenge that we have to deliver quick results. The answer on this challenge was deliver it. There is no other way out. If at all you have to be in the race, you have to deliver quick results. Now, initially people used to think about this, that initially, abhi bhi people believe in this, that Ayurveda acts very slow as such. But I'll give you a few examples. Like for example, anybody of us, because this thing is getting elongated after question and question, some people have had something as starters, but if at all you must have not had anything and somebody would have fallen down due to hypoglycemia. हम लोग क्या डालते मुंह में? The person immediately comes back. So sugar, whether it's Ayurvedic or allopathic?
Natural.
So it's Ayurvedic, obviously.
Right.
So if at all, sugar has got that person back in action in few seconds. That means Ayurveda works faster. No doubt about it. The problem, when I have learnt my modern medicine, what have I understood is the medicine is been administered with a specific target in our mind. The mechanism of action, the mode of administration of the medicines are two important things that we have to understand. Mode of administration. For example, अगर मैं ज़बान से एक आधी गोली देता हूँ, that pill has to pass through the whole intestine, go to the liver, get its approval. उसके बाद it is going to go into the circulation. Instead of that, I give an IV, it directly enters into the circulation. So it's the mode of administration of the medicine which shows whether this medicine is going to act faster or slower. Same way, Ayurvedic medicines, Ayurvedic therapies, also if at all they are tweaked to a certain extent with the use of mode of administration of these medicines like modern medicine, the actions can be faster. Like for example, शक्कर मैंने अगर मैं गाल पे लगाता शक्कर तो आदमी उठता क्या? नहीं. I put that sugar sublingually. underneath the tongue, there is a huge amount of mucosa, huge amount of blood channels which carry that sugar fast from there, due to which the effect was seen. The same sugar utilized in a different way will not show results, but the same sugar put sublingually is going to show results. So sugar is not the positive thing, it's the mode of administration of that sugar, mode of administration of that medicine, which decides the action of that medicine inside the body. So, if at all I have to deliver results faster, I had to change the mode of administration of the medicine. Normally, Ayurvedic physicians normally use this route, we use this route. We use normally any therapy that we have designed has intrarectal administration of medicines. So intrarectal administration of medicines, allopathy is looking at n number of medicines for intrarectal administration now. Like for example, if at all a person is not sleeping for days and days, diazepam also can be administered intrarectally, due to which the patient can sleep faster than a medicine. So what is important is the mode of administration of the medicine. So we in Madhavbag use the intrarectal route of administration, by which the medicines get absorbed fastest from there and reach to the target organ in the required time. Hence we deliver the results as fast as we can. A small research said that angioplasty, the effect seen by angioplasty in improving the exercise tolerance capacity of a heart failure patient, the improvement seen by angioplasty in a heart failure patient in a span of about 3 months is equal to Madhavbag's treatment of 7 days. And this has been published in the world's topmost medical journal called as Lancet. So we had to deliver fast results. We deliver fast results. Hence we could survive in the race, or else we would have left far behind.
Doctor, you hold the record of world's first Ayurvedic cardiac rehab center. But we have also heard that you also hold the record of drinking maximum number of lassis. What's the catch in that?
Those were college days. In the first year, I was a person who had not even had food for 2 times in the first year MBBS. It was absolutely a nightmare for me to leave Mumbai and go to Latur in the year 1994. When Latur was not even having good roads. 1994, leaving Mumbai in my peak age, that's the age when we enjoy our life. Leaving Mumbai and going down to Latur and seeing that, Arey Ram, khatam ho gaya life. So, the first year of my MBBS, I had lost in that depression itself. Maybe I have finished my life and everything is over. But certain point of time I realized that this is life. Now it's up to me whether I enjoy or whether I waste it. I chose the option of enjoying. So then I had a very good group of friends, and then normal challenges used to happen. There was an incident, maybe I have written in my book also, in which there was a pharmacology examination. It was a normal unit test jaisa examination tha, and I was a very bright student in my second year. So my professors were expecting a lot from me in that examination ka paper. Utne mein my friends came and told me, bet lagi, that if you get clear 0 in this paper, we give you all these things like lassi wasi, ye sab challenges hua karte the. Getting a 0 in the paper for a bright student, मतलब मैं नाम भी लिख देता तो भी शायद 1 mark मिल जाता. So the challenge was getting 0. So I had to sit for all 3 hours with the pen like this. पूरे 3 घंटे टाइम पास करना था वहाँ पे and getting zero. So these were typical small challenges that we used to play in our college life. But those things have helped me to such an extent that taking risks in life is what I had learned in that life of mine, those 5 years, wherein a person who has never gone out of the family, a person who has not even purchased anything for himself till 1994, after that he goes to a place where he has to do everything on himself. That was a nightmare. So I learned a lot in those 5 years of my MBBS. More than medical science, I learned how to live my life. So that is what is helping me in getting Madhavbag as a brand, maybe.
Thank you so much, Doctor. It was a really pleasure talking with you. And I think we'll open the forum for this. We'll first see the AV.
The book.
The book AV.
We have a AV on the book that has been written by
That's not correct.
एक अनोखी कहाणी. 5000 वर्षांच्या मोठ्या परंपरेची, अत्याधुनिक शास्त्र व तंत्रज्ञान यांच्या संगमाची, मानव जातीला भेडसावणाऱ्या हृदयरोगाशी दिलेल्या लढ्याची, पित्याकडून पुत्राला लाभलेल्या उपचारांच्या वारशाची, तरुणाईने स्वीकारलेल्या आव्हानांची, सुरुवातीला झाकोळणाऱ्या अपयशाच्या काळ्या ढगांची, एकजुटीने एक दिलाने घेतलेल्या भरारीची, लखलखीत विजेसारख्या उज्ज्वल संशोधनाची, लख उजेडासमोर असणाऱ्या राष्ट्रीय स्वीकृतीची, लाखो रुग्णांच्या वेदनामुक्तीची, त्यांच्या चेहऱ्यावर उमटलेल्या इंद्रधनुसमोर प्रसन्न हास्याची, हृदयस्पर्शी माधवबाग, प्रत्येकाला ठणठणीत ठेवणारी अपूर्व उद्योगगाथा.
We'll open the forum for questions.
Hello sir, I am Srikant Devade. When I was confiding with you, you told me you are raising your branches from 113 to 1000. And it's a really Herculean task, means very difficult. My question was that instead of, means it's just a suggestion, means you have got 113 branches just now and you have to manage all the show. Instead of that, can you make it a one single hospital like a Jupiter hospital, what we foreseen, and centralize it, and you can manage the show? Means, of course, you are a capable person, but is that thought click your mind?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's an absolutely good suggestion. But there are two things that we try to achieve. One is the revenue part of it, like what you said. If at all it's an hospital, profitability of a hospital is far more higher than a clinic. So if at all we think through revenue point of view, yes, hospital is the best option. But the basic aim of Madhavbag is increasing the reach of the services. So if at all I don't reach to the required person, I am of no use. Money and revenue is going to be a fruit of what we do. That is not going to be my first target. My first target is to get the heart patient out of his heart problem. That is one. Second, how many of you will unnecessarily like to stay in a hospital for 7-10 days unnecessarily? Instead of that, staying at your house, just getting treated yourself for 1.5 hour in a day, every alternate day is going to be a good option. So, yes, if at all we look at it through the profitability point of view, yes, clinics are going to be more expensive for us than the hospital, because hospital becomes an easier option. Getting a building and putting people inside and managing the whole show is absolutely easy. But a clinic model is too difficult, because managing people sitting at different ends is going to be a difficult task. I am very clear about it. But still I am very clear about it. Reaching to the patients by the clinic route is what we are planning for. As what you said, managing the whole show is going to be difficult. 1,000 clinics will not be managed. We are trying to prepare a whole type of hierarchy. As what I explained, increasing the whole space of preventive cardiology is going to be the answer. Like for example, consider, just think about a thought that a normal person called as preventologist, just imagine a person called as preventologist comes to your house, your parents who are senior citizens, they have this person coming to your house, and this person checks the vitals of your parents every month once. He counsels your father, your mother. He checks the vitals, he counsels, he gives them a diet chart, he gives them an exercise chart, he takes them out for exercises, he gets them doing yogasana, pranayam in the house itself. Every month once this person comes in, manages a whole diet chart and the whole diet diary as such, and he goes off, and every month for 12 months he is coming down to your house, and he is trying to put in that concept of exercising and managing a lifestyle through this concept. Is going to be called as preventologist, which is going to be the baseline of our project. These preventologists are going to report to a preventive cardiologist. Preventive cardiologist is going to be a nodal area who is going to monitor the data, the technology that we are going to use. All these vitals are going to be monitored by this preventive cardiologist. This preventive cardiologist will be keeping an eye on each and every person's data as such. There would be one preventive cardiologist for about 20 preventologists. So the data would be completely eyed by this person. If at all anybody of these patients require any help, this preventive cardiologist is going to serve them. If this preventive cardiologist thinks that the disease is not in my purview, he is going to escalate it to a Madhova clinic. If the Madhova clinic thinks that this is something more acute, the things would be escalated to the hospital. So we are trying to prepare the whole hierarchy all over the nation by increasing the size of preventive cardiology pathy itself. So going through clinic route is not going to be that profitable as what a hospital route would have gone through, but it's very clear that we will be going through clinic route itself.
My name is Sachin Hanumante. My question is on the business model itself. 100,000 patients in last 10 years, that's what we heard in the beginning. You are having 120 clinics. That gives about 20 weekly or 2.5 patients per day. Going ahead from the growth point of view, is it going to be sustainable? Related to that, general perception is that the age profile of patients going to Madhova or even otherwise for the heart treatment, it's a 60 plus, that's what is our bias means. What is your focus going ahead for catering to the population in their 40s?
Okay, that's the question? Okay, so there are two questions as such. One is about the business model and second is about the 40s people. How are we going to cater them?
Interconnection of both.
Yes. For the business model to sustain, as I told earlier, this business model would have not sustained if at all the expenses part would have gone up. I have tried to keep the expense as low as possible. The initial investment also is quite less. And talking about this, right now every month we deal with about 25,000 people in all the clinics every month. So needs some amount of nourishment and it's going to improvise. Talking about still increasing the number of clinics, if at all such a low number of 2 patients coming down every day, yes, that is going to be a problem. We'll have to gear up ourselves to increase the footfall inside the clinics so that the model becomes sustainable. But till now, if at all we see that the model is very well sustained by the franchise owners also. After paying a good royalty to the company, still they have sustained their business model. So, if you understand the whole economic structure of the whole business model, you will be completely satisfied that yes, this business model is going to stay for lifetime.
So I may take it that out of 100,000 patients in last 10 years, more number of patients would have been last 3 to 4 years.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, very true, very true. Answering the second question, it was about 40s. Yes, you are right that we were catering to people called as senior citizens beyond the age of 55 and above. But that doesn't mean that the people in early 40s don't come to us. They do. But we did not call them so strongly as such what we call the senior citizens for. But now we have already started with the campaigns to deliver services to people who are below 58 and in 40s and 50s. What is my belief is a person in 40s is far early in the disease. If at all this person starts exercising, he won't need me. That's the concept of Madhava. For business sustainability, yes, I'll have to come up with n number of ways how would the business be sustained. But as I said, there is a very thin line of demarcation in between a doctor and a businessman. I don't want to fail in the longer run because of giving unnecessarily wrong treatments to wrong people. Instead of that, I'll try to sustain the business with my own funds. So that would be the answer. But in the longer run, yes, Madhav Bagh is going to share a very huge, big space in preventive cardiology. Like for example, if at all you know, in US and UK, the number of angioplasties and bypass surgeries have reduced down drastically. Now cardiac rehabilitation is coming in. After 15-20 years, the same is the story in India maybe as such. And when the number of bypass surgeries and angioplasties are going down, there should be somebody standing in that space, and that is going to be Madhav Bagh. So that's the plan.
Thank you.
Kanan, you had a question.
I just want to ask, first thing is this, are these franchises are necessarily doctors or entrepreneurs running it with doctors?
Earlier, you were not supposed to be a doctor to be a franchise owner. The model was designed in this way that you can be a layman, but you need to hire a doctor working for you.
Necessarily an Ayurvedic.
Necessarily an Ayurvedic doctor working for you. But now when we are going ahead, what have we understood, what have we realized is, if at all the franchise owner can be the doctor himself, it would be still more easier for the doctor as well as for the company. So that's the answer.
Just one more, this one. The trials you showed, only a comparative, it was actually showing a comparative results because you are using it as an add-on to the allopathic drugs. Was there any or is there any methodology from which you can isolate this and give it and then still try to get this?
Plans are on, but the ethical committee doesn't permit us.
Okay. Would that be the reason even for not getting injectable, the mode of administration? Now in Ayurvedic it is always orals or whatever you may say, but I am saying that it is not in injectable forms. Is it because of the purity factor or anything that you
No,
are not
according to what I know, there were few injectables.
Okay, in Ayurvedic.
Yes. There were few injectables. The business model maybe did not sustain, I guess, in their case, hence they disappeared from the market. But Ayurvedic, what do I see is people perceive Ayurveda as non-invasive.
Yeah.
So if at all I come up with an invasive option in Ayurveda, maybe chances of that getting absorbed by the general population is going to be far more lesser. Because people perceive Ayurveda as something which is jadi buti, and that is not going to harm me. So if at all we come up with something invasive, it might not suit to the perception of the general population. Hence maybe those injectables which had come through Ayurveda had disappeared. But injectables through Ayurveda is 101% possible.
Okay.
There are few things which can be immediately converted, because what needs to be done to convert it into injectable is nothing else but a polyglycol preparation in which your active principle gets in, and that becomes your injectable. The dose needs to be titrated on animal trials and human trials, but that is a very small thing as compared to the whole business that will be coming out of it. But Ayurvedic things, if at all they are to be promoted as injectables, then it would not be called as Ayurvedic, it would be called something else.
Okay, but does it mean that the same, extrapolating it, mode of administration is not being invasive, then even surgically also nothing is done in Ayurveda?
Now, slowly and gradually, the council, the Central Council of Indian Medicine, has started courses in surgery through Ayurveda.
Oh.
The first surgeon was Sushrut. He belonged to Ayurveda. So he has given all the techniques of surgeries, of cataracts, of hernia, of n number of things. The surgeries have already been mentioned in the text 5,000 years ago. So those techniques have been slowly, like for example, the first typical best acting anti-hypertensive medicine, blood pressure कम करने वाला सबसे best medicine allopathy is called as Riserpine. And that Riserpine is nothing else but Sarpagandha from Ayurveda. The first cardiovascular medicine of allopathy called as Digoxin is nothing else but Rutpatri from Ayurveda. The first cough syrup में जो use करते chromoglycate, that is nothing else but Jeshtimad. We have to understand anything in this world which has been invented was somewhere on the earth. Nothing comes out of the earth. So, for me, if at all you talk about route of administration, mode of administration, there can be n number of things. Instead of injectables, we can put it in some other form. Like for example, inhalers. In the future, we are going to come up with them. So for fastest acting medicines, like for example, if a patient is just experiencing chest pain, there are nitroglycerin sprays in allopathy. We will be coming out with Ayurvedic sprays for angina to be taken as soon as the patient experiences chest pain. So these things are going to come up, the animal trials are on, and in the soon coming period, we will be launching it. If at all you people know, the injectable that is being used as streptokinase, a person, if at all he suffers a heart attack, there is an injection which costs you about 6,000 to 90,000 rupees. So much of variation. This injection normally helps you to break the blood clot inside. And this injection is the best acting injection in allopathy. The recent animal trials that we have done with Narsim Monji Institute of Management Sciences, the pharmacology college that they have, we have done an animal trial in which we have come up with molecules which are acting as equal that of streptokinase.
Wow.
So in sooner or later as we go ahead, we will be coming up with these medicines which are going to be very equivalent to that of allopathic medicines.
Would you say that, because you are an allopathic doctor, you could achieve this much of results in making the world aware about Ayurveda?
I would say yes.
Don't you feel in that case, then today in India, if you want to promote Ayurveda, you should insist some amount of allopathic practice or allopathic knowledge to be there?
Absolutely yes.
That's what I get a feeling from what you're talking.
Absolutely yes. The vision grows big.
Yep.
As soon as you enter from allopathy to Ayurveda, you see new things coming in, which a normal Ayurvedic person doesn't perceive it to that level. You are absolutely right. If at all you can convince the council for that.
Oh yeah. First and foremost, I should say, you said you are not a businessman. Definitely you are not a businessman, but you are a management guru, because whatever you said, makes such a lot of sense for all of us in any amount of any business. It need not be only in healthcare. I sincerely feel. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions? Questions on my...
I have lots of questions, but I am not asking because others have got.
Friends on the right? Still they are from, all of them are from Team Motherberg, so I think there's a lot of pride and glow and everything of being part of Dr. Sania's team.
They are family doctors.
So any questions that you would like to ask Dr. Sani? Yes.
Would Madhavbag will be sticking with preventive cardiology itself or promoting preventative lifestyle as a life concept?
You mean to say for other disorders?
Yes.
To be very honest, now we were there in other disorders earlier.
Like you mentioned earlier.
Yes. Now we have changed the focus only to cardiology because both things I like to explain in the same thing as such. For an entrepreneur, it is very important to know what is our own core. Like for example, many a times entrepreneurs do this mistake of doing everything on ourselves. Accounts भी मैं ही देखूंगा, finance भी मैं ही देखूंगा, marketing भी मैं ही करूंगा, operations भी मैं ही करूंगा. Everything becomes our own responsibility, and there is where the entrepreneurship ends. An entrepreneur should be a person with empty mind, looking outside for the opportunities and threats.
Or open minds.
Absolutely. So, an entrepreneur is a person who looks for the time beyond, for the opportunities, for the threats, so that you can navigate your company to the required direction. Like for example, as what I said, that few things will be going against Ayurveda as we go ahead. So in that case, what I'll have to do is I'll have to foresee those things, what will come in the future, I'll have to navigate those things. Same way, Madhavbag's core is very clear, what we know is cardiology. Other services we do provide to a certain extent, but that is not our core. What do we promise patients is we'll treat your heart to this level, and that is the promise that we are going to keep up. So, changing the gaze from cardiology to something else, I think till I am there, it might not happen. So that's the only answer that I could say.
I think Pinko needs the mic behind. Pinkish.
My name is Pinko Panchmatia. I have two questions. In the allopathy, we have heard there are side effects are there always. So in Ayurveda, the side effects are there, and if it is there, then how do you handle those situations? And second question is like opportunity and threat, which you mentioned. So do you have a method or separate department, or only you are the person who is looking outside the world and opportunity threat, and then you put it in the execution?
I'll answer one by one. The first question was about the adverse effects of allopathic medicines as compared to Ayurveda. What do I believe is side effects, adverse effects come only after the effects are seen. First it's a zero effect, then it's an effect, and then it's a side effect. So if at all you are not sure that effect aa gaya, stop the medicine. If you don't stop the medicine here, it leads to adverse effect. So everything in this world has an adverse effect. Even though you love somebody, it's going to have an adverse effect on that also. So there is nothing in this world which doesn't have adverse effects. It's the basic intention with which you do it will decide whether it's going to show effect or whether it's going to show adverse effect. I'll give you an example. The snake venom. The snake venom is the worst thing that we could imagine, the snake biting us. But the snake venom is a treatment for a blood clot inside during a heart attack.
Oh.
Matlab, you can use the adverse effect as an effect if your intention is clear.
Right.
The difference between a medicine and the poison is the intention with which you use it. So, according to me, whatever has an effect will have an adverse effect. So, Ayurvedic medicines don't have an adverse effect, I don't believe. The threshold for that adverse effect is going to be far more higher than compared to allopathic medicines. Like for example, haldi. Haldi would lead to some type of adverse effects if at all you have say about 2 kgs of haldi having in milk at a single given point of time. I am not clear about what it leads to an adverse effect, what amount of it would lead to adverse effect. Just an example, लेकिन इतना हल्दी खाएंगे तो कुछ ना कुछ तो adverse effect होगा. So I don't believe in this that Ayurvedic medicines will not have adverse effects. They will. But we have no recorded things for it that this is the adverse effect and this is not the adverse effect. So that's the answer for the first question. Second question I forgot.
You mentioned opportunity and threat. So
I am the only person.
Okay.
And I even doubt about my complete, what I can say, efficacy about gauging the opportunities and threats, whether that is a real opportunity or whether that is a real threat. I don't think so anybody in the world can identify that opportunity and threat other than time. The time will show whether it was an opportunity or whether it was a threat. दोनों सेम ही दिखते हैं. We can't identify it so easily, but it's up to us because being an entrepreneur, we know where are we taking our ship to. So whatever is the thing, whether you win, whether you fail, it's going to be our responsibility. So we have to take it.
But do you have a methodology to identify opportunity and threat, or just comes and...
It's a gut feeling as such. This is my mechanism. I don't know what is the normal textbook mechanism, but this is my mechanism that, for example, I'll just share a few things as such. The threat that I could see is the fight in between allopathy and Ayurveda that is going on. That fight can be a threat. Which way is that going to go? Nobody knows. That might be a threat, but opportunity is that fight itself.
The result of it.
Maybe result also is going to be a bigger opportunity. Before that, the fight can be a smaller opportunity in which we can emerge out as a person who's trying to bridge the gap. Don't fight. We'll come together. How are we going to do it is a big story. But that can be a good opportunity that I see in the future coming in.
I think I come back to Nikhil now that the formal round of question and answer is over. So, Nikhil generally springs up a surprise towards the end.
How is it?
So, now is the time for that surprise.
Doctor, we are really entertained and we are really thankful to you from bottom of our heart for enlightening us with all your management principles and all. And with a heavy heart, we have to conclude. But before we conclude, we have a small rapid fire round for you.
Okay.
I hope you permit us.
Till I know the questions.
If not a doctor, what you would be?
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. If a film is made on you, what should be the ideal title?
Bapre, it's a rapid fire round.
Yeah.
Give me at least some time to think.
कभी एलोपैथी कभी आयुर्वेद.
Maybe the title could be Fight Till You Drop.
Since you're so much dealing with heart, which is Dil, and Dil is a very favorite word of Hindi film Bollywood, which is your favorite Dil song?
दिल दे दिया है जान तुम्हें देंगे.
Thank you. And last question for you. You're a very handsome doctor, young entrepreneur. So senior citizens come to you. So they are all parents of some daughters who are yet to get married.
Oh, leading question.
So anytime did you get a marriage proposal? And if you get, how would you react?
No, I haven't, because what happens normally is they consider me as their son till now. They haven't considered me as son-in-law. So I haven't got any marriage proposal as such from any of the patient.
Longest that this room has heard an applause for an Open Minds, even if it has been a third episode itself. And yes, Dr. Sane, you've come for an Open Minds. You've won all our hearts. You know, and I very fondly, I came in touch with Dr. Sane about 3 years ago when I contacted him for an academic research that I wanted to do on Madhav Bagh, and we've been in touch since then. What he mentioned about the preventologist process or the concept, I am happy, sir, to be part of your pilot project, because I think both sides know that recently, the last weekend, we had an event at Gadkari Katta, which I conducted, and they were the kind sponsors for that event, and they really had a wonderful talk there also. We had Dr. Gurudat Amin come and speak there, and it was very well appreciated, very well accepted by the people there. I got a lot of feedback. People even asked me for video clipping of Dr. Amin's talk, which they could share with their family and friends. So this is a reconfirmation at every step of the concept of Madhav Bagh, sir, and I think that is the secret to your brand success. I request Rahul Amrute, the chairman of TEN, please come forward and present the vote of thanks. And before that, I would request a citation as our token of appreciation and love, and for the time that you have spent with us, sir. We request Kannan to please present the citation to Dr. Sane.
Thank you. That was a wonderful talk, and one is on the training part of it. It was a big take home. And the second one is, I wish you become the McDonald's of Ayurveda. This is the citation which TEN is giving. I wanted to read this. The Entrepreneurs Network. According to Ayurveda, we become what we surround ourselves with. And so it stands to reason that we have to be discerning about what we surround ourselves with. Steve Cope. Citation presented to Dr. Rohit Sani. And I really blame them that it didn't start in time.
Thank you all. Honorable guest, Dr. Rohit Sane, KYDMD, Mr. Nikhil Ballard, founder member of TEN, Mr. Deepak Kapoor, dear tenors, and all the esteemed visitors present here today. On behalf of TEN, I, Rahul Amrute, the current chairman, supported by our secretary, Mrs. Sandhya Iyer Bide, our relationship manager, Mr. Paras Shah, and the core team, sincerely thank you all wholeheartedly for your overwhelming support at the third meet of Open Minds today. I very well recollect my first interaction with Dr. Sane at his Thane back office. A young, rather calm, composed personality took me by surprise instantly. I had seen his pictures many times, but it was different to see him in person. When I say different, I mean I found it hard to relate his age with his achievements. And we take pride, sir, today to have you with us. Thanks, Sandhya, to make it happen. What I find rather interesting about him is his degree in allopathy and interest in Ayurveda. A fine balance of both the branches of medicine is what Madhav Bagh is all about. Also, Madhav Bagh's success story will be incomplete without the mention of the Madhav Bagh team that we have today with us. And we welcome you all. For the first time, I'm finding paucity of time to really tell the takeaways of this Open Minds, and I sincerely mean that. Sir, what you heard today is an amazing success story which proves that if you believe in what you do, things will fall in place. You truly opened your heart today in front of us. But to mention a few takeaways today, one, you started with saying that all branches of medicine are the same. This shows your maturity and deep commitment to get the best of all the sections of medicines. Your unique way to instill confidence in your patients is wonderful. Educating your patients and instilling confidence in your patients come only when you are confident about your own self. A doctor with a business mind of an entrepreneur is a rare combination. Your vision to set up a rehab center at Khopoli, in spite of discouraging feedback from a lot of people, shows that you follow your heart and that leads to success. You are a learner, a person open to ideas, criticism and experiments. Again a strong trait of an entrepreneur. Communicating a vision to your team with emphasis on the health of your patients is what Madhav is today. A satisfied patient is the best tool for marketing. That is what you truly believe in. A dual personality, skill to shift from a doctor to a businessman is what we should learn from you today and now. Last but most important takeaway for today, when you don't get a solution, go through the problem again and again. The answer lies in the question itself. Sir, I will now conclude my vote of thanks with my sincere gratitude towards Dr. Rohit Sane for gracing today's occasion and sharing his valuable experiences with us. I would like to take this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks to the entire core team for the perfect logistic support, stage setup, and for all the undying efforts that we have put into making this program a huge success. Also, a thank you to all my fellow tenors and visitors who made time in the busy schedule to mark their attendance today. If any of the participants wants to know more about 10 activities and the membership, please feel free to contact me, Paras or Sandhya. I now call the day off and would kindly request you all to proceed for networking over dinner. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wait. All of you, please wait. Please stand still. It is our proud privilege that tomorrow is Dr. Sane's birthday. It is a convergence of so many good things today, and hence, Dr. Sane, we got, what a day, yes, what a day.
Let's wait for 12 o'clock.
Let's wait for 12 o'clock, yes. Kanan would want that to happen.
The cake is a heart-shaped cake.
For the Dil Ka Doctor. Yes. Yes. Now the dinner table is open.